It's real news for once.
The biggest stories in the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny to Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker! Johnny Walker! Touchdown! Swatting!
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up.
Yes!
Caught! Touchdown Detroit Lions! They did it! Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end!
sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good thirsty Thursday morning to you. It is the 12th day of October, 2023. We welcome you here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Happy opening day of the 2023-24 NHL season for your Detroit Red Wings as they'll begin later on this evening on the road against the New Jersey Devils. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. You can text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports Radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros, and, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on both BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network at a.com. To that to find our website, xbmornings@gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox. And you can find us all individually on Twitter. Ben Glaze is at the Ben Glaze. Ryan Elke is at Ryan L_Key, and I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. Busy night last night in the world of Major League Baseball. What did I see about the Diamondbacks hitting 4 home runs in 1 inning in a postseason game? Pretty electric stuff there from Arizona. And then you had, entering the 8th inning of last night's game, Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman that were combined like 1 for 20 or something crazy through the 8th inning of last night. Just unbelievable that how this has transpired here for the LA Dodgers, who might be cursed. I mean, let's face it. Last 3 seasons for Arizona to lead that series 2-0, and awesome for the fans there in Phoenix. Give them something to cheer about. Like, they don't have the good weather and everything else. But, man, I mean, like that, it just seems like such a, for 3 consecutive seasons of 100 wins and then to go down like this, like that is just, that's miserable. That is, I mean, I feel bad. I honestly do. That's awful. Play that whole season like that and just get dismissed, maybe is the best way to put it, in early on in MLB's postseason. But it's just it's not fair and it's not great. And we'll have to wait and see what kind of changes the Dodgers may make. But teams like the Diamondbacks, the Orioles, even though the Orioles got beat, some of these teams that we didn't have a lot of expectation, going into the season, maybe it was Mets, maybe it was Dodgers, maybe it was Slam Diego, and then you get teams like Arizona that can surprise some folks. So that's a good time. Ben, good morning to you. At least you have a microphone, so that's a positive.
Yeah, good morning.
How are you this morning, man?
Doing well.
What was on your television last night?
I was let's see, last night. Oh, we were. Since I watched so many sports, I had to cater to the fiance last night.
Oh, what was the Golden Bachelor night?
We do watch that, yes.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
How bad is it?
It's so bad.
Is it bad?
Yeah, and it's not like the normal Bachelor where there's like drama and stuff. This is just kind of feel-good TV, I guess, where, there's no drama amongst the old ladies.
Well, that's good. I do
guess.
find it interesting, some of the commentary that the old ladies have had that I have heard about. Some of the things that they have said seems to be a little much. Seems to be a little over the top there.
Okay.
I don't I don't know. I'm trying to think about one of the quotes verbatim of something that was said, but they're feeling a little frisky, right? They feel a little froggy out there. It's so great. Do they tell you the age?
Oh yeah.
Well, what's the average age of these people?
It's got to be probably early to mid 60s.
Wow, that's electric.
Yeah,
man. Now, good for them. I don't know if it's all smoke and mirrors or whatnot, but if the ladies are feeling it in the early to mid 60s, I mean, that's congratulations to that guy. Is he being as promiscuous as some of the other bachelor candidates that we see normally?
No, definitely not.
Hoeing around out there.
No, there's a lot more heart-to-heart talks than I guess you would say making out.
Does it make you feel uncomfortable watching something like that?
A little bit.
Do you feel like you're being cross-examined by an attorney right now?
A little bit.
Okay. I don't know. I always joke about it with my parents, but I don't think that I don't know. I don't know if I can sit there and I'll have to. What night is it on? It's only on Wednesdays?
It's on Thursdays, but we watch it later in the week.
Okay. All right. So it'll be on tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Red Wings season opener, Pistons preseason. I don't think Golden Bachelor is going to make it to my screen.
No.
But I should give it a chance, at least to be able to see what's going on out there in these streets for the elders, and if they're how they're behaving. I think that's important. All right, so let's get you real quick. There's some good sports stories out there I want to get you caught up on as we span the globe and the world of sports right now in the headlines.
Big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
No, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories in the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
The Buffalo Sabres have long-term plans for Owen Power. The 20-year-old just signed a 7-year deal worth an average of $8.35 million. That's the AAV, the average annual value. That's what's important for the salary cap. Everybody knows the number is going up. Red Wings will have some space, and they will also have a lot of guys that they want to try to re-sign. Things are going to now start to get a little bit hairy for Steve Yzerman. Connor Bedard scored his first NHL goal last night, and the Blackhawks lost to the Bruins. Back-to-back games on national television for Bedard. They lost 3-1 to Boston. Started the Boston Bruins' 100th season. So congratulations to them. They've made it this far, a century of hockey. Suspended Hornets forward Miles Bridges has a criminal summons issued. Now, this happened yesterday. Allegedly, Bridges violated the Domestic Violence Protective Order. There's also an unserved arrest warrant for the 25-year-old, which was issued on January 2nd for violating the Domestic Violence Protective Order. According to the spokesman, neither the warrant nor the summons was immediately available because as of last night, they had not yet been served. Back in November, Bridges pleaded no contest to felony domestic violence. Part of the story is that the woman involved, her windshield was smashed out. I don't know what the hell. Dude, no way. No, you can't be that stupid. That's Ja Morant level of stupidity. NBA is pushing an 82-game mindset to the players ahead of their regular season. That's how much trouble their league is in. They have to try to convince their guys to show up to work every day. The NFL mulls George Kittle and fining him for his anti-Cowboys T-shirt. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, give him. They just fined somebody $13,000 or $11,000 or whatever it was. He should get the max fine for wearing a T-shirt that says F Dallas on it. Clean it up a little bit. And speaking of tight ends, Travis Kelce is questionable to play against the Denver Broncos. That's what we have going on in the headlines. We'll step aside, back with more X's and Bros after this. Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls High school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
There are 13 folds that bring the American flag to the iconic shape of freedom. This summer, Folds of Honor and Budweiser celebrate 13 years of changing military and first responder lives together. Service never stops, and neither will we. So join me in raising a Budweiser to raise funds for Folds of Honor.
Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
From Traverse City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, you're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Sizzling Sundays stops this Sunday. That's right, October 14th is your last Sizzling Sunday over at the beautiful Tullymore Golf Resort in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, offering not one but two championship courses, Tullymore and St. Ives. Right, located an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. It's easy to get to no matter what direction you are coming from. What is included in this package, you ask? Well, I'm glad you did. I happen to have the answer for you. You get 18 holes on Sunday, a steak dinner following that, overnight accommodations, and then 18 more holes on Monday, all for just $199. Call my friend Matt Golden right now. 1-800-972-4837, 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. Welcome back here to X's and Bros. That's Ben Glaze and Ryan Elke. I'm Anthony Bellino. All right, I don't know if you saw this on Twitter, but I just want to throw this out there to our listenership as well. If you have a Twitter, one thing that you can do, if you'd like to go to the Michigan-Indiana game, it is this Saturday. It is a noon kickoff. If you are interested in such a thing, it is Fox's big noon kickoff this week. So I'll tell you a little bit about the quality of the slate of game that we have. There are a couple good ones, just none of them happen to be, with Fox at noon. But, yeah, I'm giving away 2 tickets to go see Michigan versus Indiana. And I was like, how am I going to do this? Right? I mean, I used to give out tickets all the time with Mud Hens, Walleye, Toledo Rockets, when I was just on Fox Sports 1230 down there in the Glass City. We would do tickets all the time. And the organizations would actually give me these envelopes that were just packed full of tickets, full of them. I mean, we were giving away 20, 30, sometimes 40 tickets a weekend. Some games were for Friday or for Saturday, Sunday, however they broke them up, whatever they wanted. And we just dispersed them, man. And it was chaos. It was like getting names and slapping them on envelopes. And, the receptionist all these people would have to drive downtown to pick them up. Sometimes I'd be able to leave them at will call for folks. And that was just a pain. Like, I'm already doing all this. You can make it to the studio. So I was like, you know what? I'll just do a little Twitter giveaway, right? I'll just I'll put it out there on Twitter, and then because they're digital tickets, I'll just be able to email whoever is the winner, right? So what I usually do when I get on there, click the retweet button and see like the list of people, and then just close my eyes and basically just start scrolling up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, land on a name. Bro, there have been 917 entries into this thing. 917 people or accounts or what have you. I'm like, what? I didn't think it would be that many. That's a ton. That is a ton. 917 folks to get in to watch Michigan, Indiana. So that's and the one thing I really draw from that is that's good that many people are like, oh yeah, no, I'll go. You got tickets? Hell yeah, I'll retweet this. It's like winning the lottery. Hopefully you bought a Powerball ticket. I bought one yesterday. My deal still stands, Ryan, if I win. If the Michigan Wolverines, who are 6-0 and number 2 in the country, according to the Associated Press, hosting the Indiana Hoosiers, who are 2-3 on the year, they're 0-2 in conference play. They lost to Maryland at Maryland on the 30th. They had their bye last week, 44-17. They beat Akron in 4 overtimes. They lost to Louisville 21-14. They lost to Ohio State in the season opener 23-3. You could probably make that game like 46-3 now. Like they beat Indiana State and Arkansas. I know that Indiana's the margin of victory for the Michigan Wolverines under Jim Harbaugh. somebody had done a stat like this, right? That was so people can't read, so they got all misconstrued on what was taking place here. But Michigan's average margin of victory under Harbaugh is like the smallest against Indiana for whatever reason. Now, I don't think this is a trap game. In the Michigan era, here's what it is. Indiana has the tightest margin of loss to Michigan out of any team in the Big Ten, right? Michigan's average margin of victory, 14.7 points. That's all. Minnesota's next at 17. Well, we saw what happened to Minnesota last week. That was a 42-point spread there. Illinois, 17.3. Wisconsin, 17.6. Ohio State's 18.5. Purdue's 19.5. Iowa is 19.6. Michigan State's 19.8. This is going into the season, too, so obviously all these numbers are going to change. Northwestern's 22.3. Penn State's 22.8. Nebraska's 26.5. Maryland's damn near 30, and Rutgers is 33. But out of all the teams that Jim Harbaugh has beaten in the Big Ten, for whatever reason, it's the Indiana Hoosiers that have played this team the tightest in those victories. Now, based upon what I saw from this past Saturday against Minnesota, I think that this is a steamrolling unlike anything Indiana's seen yet this season. If they thought 44-17 was bad against Maryland, this one is going to be ugly. Ugly. And there is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Like, Michigan has shown that they are not going to get caught up in playing the schedule game. Michigan has shown that they are taking every one of their opponents seriously. Michigan has shown that they can go on the road to some of these opponents and handle business, although they look, I'm not trying to prop them up too much. You didn't go on the road and beat Alabama or Texas A&M or anybody. You go on the road and you beat Nebraska and Minnesota. But, hey, conference opponents in back-to-back weeks, you give up 10 or less, you score 45 or more. Outscoring them 97-17 is a disgusting margin of victory right there. And if you want to throw the 31-7 game on top over Rutgers, come on. Come on now. What are we doing? 128 to 124 or 128 to 24 maybe? I think that's my quick math here. I'm going to pull out my calculator. But that's what you're looking at on Michigan's offense. And that's been probably the most relieving thing to me that I didn't see early on. Yeah, 128 to 24. Is that earlier in the season, I had a lot of questions. It just didn't feel like they were checked in. And the Big Ten season is hit. And this team has shifted gears now. And that bodes really well for a team that, look, the haters are going to come out. They're going to talk about the end of the season. And rightfully so. That's where the meat and the potatoes is at. I'm trying to get through Indiana on Saturday. 55 degrees and overcast. It's like, what are we going to wear? These are the conversations I got to have with myself. How are we going to dress out there? Because I don't want to be cold. Lord knows I don't want to be cold. I got to keep the arm loose. You never know when little Timmy in Section 2 is looking for a T-shirt. So I'm not overlooking Indiana for Michigan State because that's a 52-7 game there sounds really good right now. And from a Michigan standpoint, obviously from a Michigan standpoint, you're probably, squeezing the steering wheel right now, swearing at me, which is totally fine. We could be degenerate family members next week when that game comes around. But that's the kind of game, what we've seen against Nebraska, what we've seen against Minnesota. And hell, if it was 31-7, it doesn't really matter, especially when you're pulling your starters out in the fourth quarter. Like, I'm just going to say it like this. Ryan, plug your ears. This is a time where you have a pedal to the floor, demoralizing type of victory over Michigan State. This is it. This has got to be a pretty violent game here. I think everybody's well aware of that. Like I said, focus on Indiana, but the following week, it's a night game. I'm going to have a lot to say next week because I'm very interested to see what the color of that crowd looks like. What's everybody wearing? Is there more maize? Is there more blue? Is there green or white after the idiotic takes that were spewed across the state about Michigan fans better not show up. And, oh, my, it's going to be a bloodbath. Oh, okay. Okay. Same folks that are giving up on their season? All right. Yeah, sure. We'll be there. We'll be there. But I am very interested to see what that crowd looks like. Because if that crowd comes in and looks 50% maize and blue, yeah, it's going to be a long day for Sparty. Long day. All right, we're going to step aside. When we return, don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right there. We're going to talk about some of these Lions trade proposals that are getting even better. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. He is a managing partner at Br0's, soon to be Dorn Mayhew, and they'll be stronger together. And did you know Br0 can help your business with outsourcing your payroll and other business needs? That can help ease tax filing and year-end reporting, compliance reporting, human resources management, time and attendance tracking, and more. Just go to Br0.com to find out more how they can help your payroll system and make your workplace that much smoother. Go to Br0.com. That's BEENEGARTR.com, and they can help you with all your payroll needs. Like I mentioned, tax filing and year-end reporting, compliance reporting, human resources management, time and attendance tracking, and more. All your payroll needs can be handled by the team at Br0. Find out more at Br0.com.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's pumpkin coin toss, and you can carve out wicked premium play prizes up to $3,000. There are drawings every Friday in October from 5 to 11 p.m. and 2 lucky guests every hour toss to win up to $3,000 premium play. Be there for Pumpkin Coin Toss, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
If you wait long enough, the pendulum swings in the other direction. All across Michigan, police academies are filling up. In fact, new sections are being added to accommodate the brave men and women making the decision to protect and serve. The Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police commends and welcomes these selfless, community-minded officers joining our ranks. We know we have more work to do, and with your help, the pendulum will swing in favor for all of Michigan.
You're listening to Michigan's statewide morning show, X's and Bros, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. This just in, breaking news from last night. A couple in Colorado has shared footage they captured on a train ride of what they believe in Colorado, what they believe to be Bigfoot. I mean, it looks pretty Bigfootish to me. If I was going to take a look at Bigfoot, people complain about the camera. We don't know. They might be all the way zoomed in. It looks like Bigfoot to me. What else should you be doing wandering around the wilderness like that? Hairy as hell. Harry and the Hendersons. The NFL season is going strong. DraftKings Sportsbook hooking up new customers with an offer that's even stronger. Bet $5 any game this week. Score $200 in bonus bets instantly. It's really that simple. DraftKings isn't stopping there. All customers can take advantage of a sweetener offer every single game day this October. Get in on the great game day news and greatness only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app right now using the promo code HUGE. Promo code HUGE. New customers score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet just $5 on the National Football League. Promo code HUGE only on DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody know has a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline. 800-270-7117, 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Now, welcome back here. X's and Bros. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000. Meyer Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. 866-838-4843. Still looking for Dave in Hudsonville. If anybody could find him, please let him know that we are looking for him. We would like to see him and spend some time with him. You guys aren't getting half worked up watching The Golden Bachelor, are you? No, that's an unnamed texter. Put your name on it. Nobody's getting worked up over watching the Golden Bachelor. It seemed kind of interesting, intriguing. I don't know, hitting a new demographic. And I mean, it's got to be the number one most watched program right now in the old folks' homes, right? Yeah, I would imagine. All right, so Golden Bachelor. That's how Aaron Rodgers felt this offseason, like the Golden Bachelor. The Detroit Lions. Now, it was circling the internet, and it's got everybody up in a roar. And I'm going to have to look, it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. And I love my man Jim Costa. He's great. I don't think there's going to be a way that you are going to be able to trade Jamison Williams in a pick for Brian Burns. Panthers get Bryce Young as favorite college target. Cool. Lions get a 25-year-old double-digit sack machine opposite Aiden Hutchinson. Cool. I don't think that dealing Jamison Williams is going to be of a very high priority here. Like, that's what it is. Like, I just don't believe that despite whatever trade you might concoct, and I'm not mad at Jim Costa for coming up with a trade. It doesn't bother me at all. I just don't think that they're going to deal a guy with the potential that Jamison Williams has. The potential. I don't want to go crazy here because, in Carolina's coach had said that Brian Burns deserves better. Their coach says a lot of weird stuff. He talked about ownership and how some owners are more involved than others and can, not always a great thing. And he's like, well, this is fine. I'm like, yeah, okay. Ben Johnson's got to be sitting there like, thank God I didn't take that job. What an absolute disaster. The reason I don't think that it's going to go down and that Jamison Williams will be traded. Now, I could stand corrected, and at 8:04 today, we could get a tweet that comes out from Adam Schefter to say, yeah, like this happened. This is what the Lions went and did, whether it's Brian Burns or whether it's Max Crosby or whether it is Patrick Surtain Jr. You are going at, like, why would Carolina, okay, Bryce Young's favorite college target. That's great in college. Well, we don't play college football anymore. And so what has he done now? What do you have, 2 catches for 2 yards last game? So that gives him, 3 catches for 43 yards in 2 seasons of work? Not 2 complete seasons, but, a complete season on over 2 years. Guy who came off an injury and got suspended. Guy that has a little bit of a case of the yips with the football, dropping it a little bit. First round pick. I don't know if I'm willing to part with that. However, it is safe to say that we will no longer, as we said during the draft this year, which I love, we're no longer probably going to be picking top 10. Now, based upon where we finish our regular season, that's not to say that based upon what we've seen with our general manager, Brad Holmes, that he won't feel a little froggy on a game day and go after somebody if necessary and try to climb up into the first round and move some chess pieces around. However, we will not have another pick in the top 10 for a few years, at least. And that's a beautiful thing all in itself. It does kind of, it draws away maybe a little bit of the overall excitement in comparison to when you have a top 5 pick. But I will absolutely pass that up for pick 30 or pick 32 for this upcoming year's draft, in which, it's going to be in Detroit, which will be a lot of fun. Downtown will be buzzing. The boys will be buzzing. But for me, I like a lot of these trade ideas that people have. They're just not practical, right? It's just not what it is. Well, why don't you come up with something? You can come up with whatever you want. You could piece together however you want. I'm not going to mortgage our future for right now when right now is good enough to win football games. I'm just not going to do it. I am not going to go out there and trade away a guy. Like going into last week's game, it was all about what Jameson Williams could do for other guys on offense, right? Very big block for David Montgomery. We got to highlight the things that he's doing well, because if not, then everybody just piles on the fact that he dropped the one that hit him right in the hands. He got hands like feet. But there are other things that he does do well, not only blocking, and he knows if you want the rock, you got to block, but also, it's what Dan Campbell was talking about. It's being in the right place at the right time. It's the depth of his routes. It's that responsibility he has to the offense to just be where you're supposed to be and when you're supposed to be there. I don't know if he's a super attractive guy to other teams throughout the league. I really don't. And I know, like, Devontae Adams, for example, he was listed on CBS's list of, available potential trade bait. Like, here's the time to dump a guy. If you're ever going to do it right now. You got to dump Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams signed a 5-year, $140 million contract with 19 and a quarter on his signing bonus and $65.6 million guaranteed. Does anybody, an average annual salary of $28 million for a wide receiver? Are you smoking? What? Are you nuts? Hell no. You're not going to be able to do that. That's not going to happen. Come on. That's not even practical. $140 million. Like, you have to factor that in. You can't just run around here all willy-nilly trying to get, whatever player to join your team. And here's what I'd really like to do. I would really like to, if you have a trade proposal for the Detroit Lions, like a legitimate one, right? Because this is the last year for Brian Br0's, who was selected in the first round, 16th overall out of Florida State. Here we go. His base salary in 2019 was $495,000. He made $2 million at signing, right? The base salary went up to 1.1, 1.7, 2.3. He's got about, the cap hit is about $16 million, but his contract does expire. And so something to think about there is this is deal number 2 and probably the most lucrative deal for him that he is going to see over the span of his career. So if you're going to try to make a move for a player like Brian Br0's, you know that, okay, his contract's coming up, so this is a rental unless you know you can actively engage in extending that contract, and you're going to be able to sign him in what is going to be his largest contract, more than likely, of his career. And when you start looking at cap hits, Jared Goff, $30 million, Taylor Decker, 19.3, Frank Ragnow, 16.4, Aiden Hutchinson, 8.1. He's coming up down the pipeline here shortly. Penei Sewell, 6.5. He's coming up. Like, there are some other guys that you're going to have to. And outside of that, the cap sheet's relatively clean for the Detroit Lions. Relatively clean. You know, we have, as of right now, roughly $8.5 million to play with. That's pretty solid. Jared Goff's market value is going to be like 34.6. That's where he's at. We can have the debate on whether or not you want to increase Jared Goff and what that means there to the salary cap if he's going to sign an extension. But right now he's in a pretty good spot where he's handsomely paid for what he does. He has been top 10 in a lot of statistical categories, but we haven't had to fork over some of the money like Lamar Jackson is receiving in Baltimore, like Deshaun Watson's receiving in Cleveland, like Kyler Murray signed in Arizona, Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, like some of those outrageous, contracts that have been dealt. He's right in the sweet spot. And the sweet spot is keeping all players under that threshold of 20% of the cap. It's a number that I stand by. The data pretty much backs it up. You're not going to be able to assemble a good enough team when you have one guy making more than 20% of your cap. If you can keep him to any player 15% or low, your odds of being able to build a better quality team are there. And then you look at some of the quarterbacks that have had success, namely Tom Brady. You can give him all the success for the Patriots over all those years. He made Josh McDaniels look great. He made Bill Belichick look great. He left there and went and immediately won a Super Bowl. Take a look at what the Patriots have done since. It's not even debatable. Tom Brady, the GOAT, the God. Everybody else stinks. Tom Brady always took less money. Always took less money. And he would restructure and take less to make sure that he had enough around him to win. And Jared Goff's going to have to do the same thing. I know that we all live in this fantasy world where everybody's going to get paid, and that's what everybody wants. And you can absolutely demand and pound your feet and your hands on the table and tell everybody and your mother that you deserve to be paid, just like Lamar Jackson. You can't eat that much of the salary cap and expect your team to be good. So what do you want? You want to make $50 million a year, or you want to make $30 million a year and win? I'll take 30 and win versus 50 and losing. Mahomes might be the exception to the rule, where you have a guy who is making a boatload of money, but their team is still in relatively good shape. Relatively. I still don't think that the Chiefs have enough. I think that the Chiefs are probably in a little bit of a future-wise, like they're going to try to maximize this the best that they can, and that makes sense, obviously. But when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, even Patrick Mahomes, because of the way that his deal is done, like he made 6.1 in a signing bonus, 22.5 on a roster bonus, and a base salary of $1.3 million. His cap percentage is still below 20%. It's at 16%. Chris Jones is their next highest player, then Travis Kelce. So you have 16% of your salary cap, actually it's closer to 17, wrapped up in Patrick Mahomes. 12% wrapped up in Chris Jones. So use the percentages here. And now you have basically 71% of your available cap space to use on the rest of your roster. It's not terrible, right? But everybody wants to get paid. Who's willing to take a little bit less? And so when you're looking at these deals, Brian Br0's contract is something that you have to take into consideration. Like I said, you do have the wiggle room. That's fine. But I'm going to be concerned about that. 2012 to 2019, Calvin Johnson signed a 7-year, $113.5 million contract with the Lions, including $16 million at signing, $53 million guaranteed, and an average annual salary of $16.2. Trade proposal. First round, Pac to the Tennessee Titans for defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons, okay. Then Teddy Bridgewater to the Jets for Zach Wilson and a second-round pick. Why would the Jets trade Zach Wilson? He's the future of the franchise, isn't he? That's what I've been told. Wasn't he that? Wait, what timeout? Is Zach Wilson no longer the truth anymore? Is that why would the Jets trade him? Didn't they build their roster to make the playoffs? Correct me if I'm wrong. But wasn't there like whole mantra this offseason, Super Bowl or bust? What's the issue? What happened? I thought Robert Saleh was the GOAT. I thought Zach Wilson was the truth. I must have missed something. Huh. Can we stop? Didn't Dan Campbell take over a disastrous job and turn it around? Carolina has a ton of talent, but somehow Frank Reich is not the same good coach anymore. Facts. They have a ton of talent. Where are they at? Did anybody say Frank Reich is not a good coach? I said his comments about the ownership speaking a lot was interesting. I think that Ben Johnson dodged a bullet by not taking that job. That's what I said. Frank Reich talking about the ownership being boisterous or being outspoken doesn't mean he's a bad coach. It's literally what he said. The press conference is out there. Ben Johnson wiping his brow, thanking God he didn't take that job. Yeah. Now that makes sense. That checks out. Zach Wilson, I can't believe he would be on the trade block. I mean, come on. Guy was going to win a Super Bowl. And as for Calvin Johnson, yes, got paid a lot. That's a pretty good reference point there. A one-of-a-kind wide receiver that at that point of his career, second contract, wasn't near 30 years old yet. Makes total sense. Devontae Adams, 30. Doesn't make a lot of sense. He might even be older than 30. I can check that real quick. But, yeah, I mean, that's great. And we saw, because of that awesome deal that the Lions made with Calvin Johnson, the amount of success. He is 30 years old. So he's about to be 31 here shortly, too. You saw the amount of success that directly translated to the organization with all of the playoff victories and the Super Bowl championships and all of that, all the great seasons that were had. I mean, you can, yeah. Whoa. So, no thank you on Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know. The trade deadline's coming up. I believe it's the 31st. I think it's Halloween. So very, very spooky here for a lot of NFL teams. We'll see if Brad Holmes is willing to get active. I just, salary cap implications are something that you need to take into consideration when you're piecing together a trade proposal. Hour 2's next, X's and Bros.
Huge here for my good friend Matt Golden. Now, he's the CEO and GM at the Tullymore Golf Resort. They're in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids. And fall golf is here, and they have some huge deals you can take advantage of on stay-and-play packages, tee times, and more. Just go to tullymoregolf.com. That is tullymoregolf.com. Also, if you want to book a Christmas party for the holidays, you want to squeeze in a business meeting with some golf and great food and beverages, Matt Golden and his team can take care of you right now. Go to tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com. They're also booking big groups who want stay-and-play packages, or maybe you just want to look ahead to the perfect weekend in 2024. Remember, Tullymore is less than an hour north of GR in Canadian Lakes, Michigan. Book your stay-and-play package or get more info now at tullymoregolf.com.
Ladies, let's go see some men. The show, Friday, November 17th at Soaring Eagle Casino. Come meet the men of your wicked dreams for an affordable night of laughs and maybe some mischief. Oh, my. The boys are back in town. Tickets for 18 plus, just $25. On sale now at the box office and etix.com. Sex sexy costumes, hot dance moves. Your sensational night of fun returns. Hunks, the show, November 17th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Oh, my.
Fuel up for less with M-Perks. Earn points on your purchases when you shop at Meijer in-store and online. Then use your points to claim a fuel reward and save at the pump. Your dollar goes further at the pump with M-Perks. Plus, earn points for all qualifying purchases in the Meijer Express station. And keep a lookout for exclusive Meijer Express offers. Enter your M-Perks ID at checkout to earn. Exclusions apply. Not valid in Wisconsin. Max 30 gallons. Download the Meijer app to sign up or see Meijer.com to learn more.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
Merc Perks from Mercantile Bank is here. Merc Perks checking has all you need to plan your busy lifestyle. Travel services for hotels, airfare, and cruises, cash back rewards, and even savings on prescriptions, eyewear, and dental work. Merc Perks also includes all the traditional benefits you love, like online and mobile banking, and fee-free access to almost 40,000 MoneyPass ATMs. So when you're ready for perks, Merc is here. Learn more at mymercperks.com, member FDIC.
Coming up later today at 3, huge opinions on everything I want to talk about. It's the Huge Show at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here. X's and Bros, hour number 2 on this Thursday. It is the 12th day of October, 2023. We welcome you back all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. You can text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000 Sports Radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843, 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Add a .com to that to find our website. xbmornings@gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox. And you can find us all individually on Twitter. Ben Glaze is at the Ben Glaze. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AAC Bellino. Got some tweets yesterday from our friend Craig up there in northern Michigan, who's in the greater Grayling area. And what had happened on 101.1 WGRY yesterday was just a receiver issue as they were preparing to be able to receive Red Wings hockey. That is why. But we should be up and running. We had a receiver issue with 96.1 as they were flipping from ESPN to Fox Sports Radio. So that is I think it's a really good move. We have a lot of Fox Sports affiliates. And yeah, I really enjoy the fact that you get us, and then you get to go into to Dan Patrick, and then into Colin Coward, and then into the huge show from 3 to 6 statewide here in Michigan as well. So Grayling, Lewiston, Mansalona on GRY. You guys should be all set here this morning. That's what took place there. Good morning to our newest affiliates in northern Michigan, 93.7 WKAD, and then 1340 AM and 104.7 FM WMBN, and of course 100.9 WLUN, home of the Loons, baby. The Mitt, Bay City, Saginaw, Midland, West Branch, and St. Helens. Good morning to all of you, and welcome back to the program. All right, what else is going on in the sports world? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
Nah, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories in the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
All right, so there's a kid named Mikey Williams, and he's being labeled as Memphis's Mikey Williams, but he's not actually a part of Memphis. He is enrolled in online classes at Memphis. He does remain on the roster, but doesn't have access to team facilities or activities or anything like that. Because he hasn't really, he's not on the team yet. He's on the, you know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? He hasn't played a game. But the Memphis star recruit, is going to stand trial Mikey Williams for 6 felony gun charges. 6 felonies. Williams, who finishes prep career in California, faces 5 charges of assault with a deadly weapon, 1 count of firing a firearm into an occupied vehicle. Could be sentenced to up to 28 years in prison if convicted on all counts. He's accused on March 27th of a shooting at his home in eastern San Diego, California. An argument just before midnight ended with gunshots being fired at a car that was leaving a house with 5 passengers inside. Bullets hit the car. Nobody inside was injured, thank God. And that's where we're at there. Basically, based on what we know of this, I would say, Williams is one of the name, image, and likeness era's early stars. Had a multi-year shoe deal and athletic apparel deal with Puma for an undisclosed amount in 2021. He had millions of followers across his social platforms. He was going to Memphis. That should be it for him. I don't have a whole lot of remorse for people that are just idiots And I can't imagine him, like, he just threw away his entire career. Like, you want to play stupid games, win stupid prizes, right? I'm Anthony Bellino, and I'm tough on crime, and you got to set the precedent. You got to set it. It's got to be an example. Like, what in the world are you doing as a high-profile prospect like that? Even carrying a firearm, having one accessible is okay. Carrying one is not okay. Having an argument in which you go and reach for a firearm, that is, brandishing a firearm is a crime, folks. Like, I know that you people wish that this was Yellowstone, but it's not. So, maybe put the guns down. If they're at your house and you ask them to leave, like, I hate to be this way, but you just kind of got to call the authorities. Like, it is what it is. You got too much to lose. He's 18, so I'm gonna leave his parents be. Otherwise, I'd say charge them too. And that's really how you end this stuff. Either your parents are going to raise you, or the law is going to, and that's going to be it. And that's the way that I look at it. And, I've got family members of my own that have made some really atrocious decisions. Some, it has cost their lives, literally, and others, it has cost their lives figuratively. And that's the choice you made. And it's not my fault. That is not my problem. You wanted to do that, choices have consequences. And it just is what it is. Like, I don't really have a whole lot of sympathy. I'm sorry. It's just kind of the way I feel about it. I know it sounds kind of mean. I know it sounds kind of cold-hearted. What about getting him help, this, that, and the third? Help? For being an idiot? You'll get somebody, like, what's the help? It's like John Morant. Personally speaking, I don't think John Morant should ever play in an NBA game again. I think that his level of dumbness should constitute a lifelong suspension from the NBA. You don't deserve the honor and the privilege that it is to collect a check for literally playing basketball. That's just how I am. There's too many people out there doing too many good things, to paint with a broad brush and have this kind of idiocracy take place over and over and over again. Arizona and UCLA are hoping to continue their rivalry despite the split in the Pac-12. It only made sense, Arizona and Arizona State. Once UCLA and USC were bouncing, and Oregon and Washington were coming to the Big Ten, it only made sense that Arizona and Arizona State, just geographically speaking, would join the Big 12. Makes a whole lot more sense than what we got going on right now in the Big Ten. I don't know how it's all going to work out, but let's be honest, we only care about football anyways, and then to a lesser extent, we care about college hoops. The rest of it, I'm not really too worried about it. They can do some series stuff. They can play multiple games in the same week. I don't know how they're going to work out the travel, but this makes a lot of sense. You got a good rivalry, you keep it going. You got plenty of games. You're going to play anywhere between 19 or 29 and 32 regular season games, depending on if you play, neutral site stuff and, all that, this, that, and the third. Like, just get it over with. College basketball is another one. Like, everybody should play the same amount of games no matter what. I've never understood why we allow that to happen. If you think about making it to the national championship, you might play, 40, 41 games, somewhere in that wheelhouse. It should be a 40-game regular season plus the tournament. I don't think that's asking too much. You could play 2 games a week. Kansas basketball is on probation as violations have been downgraded. The FBI's 2017 investigation into college basketball. The Independent Resolution Panel ruled Wednesday the men's basketball program and head coach Bill Self won't face any additional serious punishment. As a part of the ruling, the Jayhawks were placed on 3-year probation. Will have to vacate its 2018 Final Four appearance wins from that season due to Silvio De Souza's participation. The program, however, was not given a postseason ban. Self and assistant coach Curtis Townsend will face no further suspension. Okay, sure. Great. Wipe it from the record books. We were all there. We know what happened. Mark Stoops on the NIL Gap said that Georgia, quote, bought some pretty good players. They did. Everybody is basically buying pretty good players. But that's what you guys signed up for because you refuse to have a body that will control and rule over this chaos that is college sports. So, yes, Mark Stoops, you're absolutely right. Georgia did buy some good players. Yeah, everybody is. You think guys are just showing up to Colorado? Like, come on. Sabres signed defenseman Owen Power to a 7-year extension. Why does this matter to you? Average annual value on the 7-year deal for the 20-year-old is $8.35 million. That's Mo Sider's kind of comparison here. The Bruins opened up their 100th season of NHL hockey against the Blackhawks. What mattered most is the phenom Connor Bedard should be a Red Wing took another step and got his first NHL goal in just his fourth period last night. We'll step aside, back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's pumpkin coin toss, and you can carve out wicked premium play prizes up to $3,000. There are drawings every Friday in October from 5 to 11 p.m. and 2 lucky guests every hour toss to win up to $3,000 premium play. Be there for Pumpkin Coin Toss, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org. Coming up later today at 3, huge opinions on everything I want to talk about. It's the Huge Show at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us. Hey, folks, this Sunday is the end of the sizzling Sundays at the beautiful Tullymore Golf Resort in Canadian Lakes, Michigan. Offering not one but two championship courses, Tullymore and St. Ives. You can play them both this weekend while availability lasts. Here's the deal. Visit TullymoreGolf.com or call Matt Golden, my friend. Call him personally, 1-800-972-4837, 1-800-972-4837. Sizzling Sunday, you get 18 holes on Sunday, followed by a steak dinner following your round. Accommodations right there on the grounds, and 18 more holes on Monday. Who doesn't love that? All for just $199 only at Tullymore Golf Resort, hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. Easy to get to no matter what direction you are coming from. Enjoy some of the great fall golf. We had great weather yesterday for Golf League, just mashing the driver. But, hit it to a point where we can't find it. And it's not like, the ninth hole is a 300 or 400 yard, whatever, dogleg left over a creek. And, I just nuke one and it clears the creek with ease. That's not even a question. So I'm on the second portion of the fairway, we think, but it was straight as an arrow. Never found the ball. Just frustrating day. Hit some good shots, though, yesterday at Golf League. So feeling pretty good. All right, last night, what a night it was. I may have a new favorite player in Major League Baseball.
Stays put, and there's a high fly ball. Deep right field. Harper watches it fly.
Oh, a little stare down there for Bryce Harper. Little stare down. Ring the Liberty Bell. Phillies getting active last night. And if you thought that was cool, or at least sounded cool, it's even better when it's in Spanish.
Viene el picheo. El batazo es inmenso. Y perfecto. Bryce Harper trae 3 para Filadelfia que se van arriba. 4 carreras por 1.
Sensational. Sensational. You listen to that Fox broadcast, you listen to it in Spanish, then you turn on the TBS broadcast, and it's like, oh, my God. All right, so then Bryce Harper was like, yeah, that was cool and all. That was fun and all. But guess what? Like a bad infomercial. There's more.
Long balls included. Harper, high fly ball, center field. He's watching. Harris turns. Harris leaps, and it's gone. Harper with a rainmaker. And another stare down.
Oh, the stare down.
7-1 Phillies.
How dare you? How dare you say anything to Bryce Harper? My goodness. And Aaron Nola, by the way, 5 2/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts, just wheeling and dealing out there. This is the Fall Classic at its finest. And you know what? Just because there was a lot of home runs, it was 8-2. When we're going to pick things up here in the 8th inning. You remember this guy, Nick Castellanos.
In the air, deep left center field. Castellanos has another one for Charlie.
The Phillies tied an MLB postseason record with 6 home runs in one game. Now, there would be 4 home runs in a single inning over on TBS afterwards. Final score there, 10-2. Phillies lead the series 2-1. Look, man, I got to be honest with you. Bryce Harper, the stare down there is, he's talking about, how there's nothing like it and how great it is to play. Him and Castellanos both showed up in Deion Sanders prime gear, which I thought was pretty fun, pretty interesting. And when you got a guy like Bryce Harper, I want to from a teammate perspective, not being the man. Right, because very few of us know what that's like to walk into whatever competitive realm that you are playing in, and you know that the team is absolutely depending on you to win. And if you don't have a good day, the odds of your team winning are very slim. That's one of the things that I think is very interesting about pressure in general. I think it's very interesting. It's very hard to learn how to deal with that expectation and how you manage that throughout the course of whatever your season might be. I'm sure some of our listeners out there, maybe it was football, right? Maybe you were, a stud wide receiver, quarterback, running back. Maybe it was basketball. Could be anything. Hell, it could be tennis for all I care. Wrestling. Ryan's a wrestler, right? You think Ryan's having fun in games and putting together YouTube over there, but say something stupid to him, and next thing you know, your ears are going to look like cauliflower. He's going to mangle you. Put you in a figure 4 leg lock. But whatever the case may be, if you played anything athletically, there are two different bodies of people, maybe 3. And I noticed this a lot. I was having a conversation with somebody going back to youth sports, and I had a kid that ended up getting a full ride to Air Force. That as a kid, as a pup, he could have scored 20 points a game easily. The guy was a double machine. And he just chose not to because he was intelligent. He was smart. He was there for the right reasons. He played for his teammates. And things like that matter. And people like that matter. He's a great kid. That's why he ended up going to the Air Force. And he's just good, strong discipline, strong work ethic. That's what youth sports is about. It's not about how many points you score in junior high. Nobody cares. And he understood that he needed to put his teammates in a good position. But he was a stud, right? He knew it. I knew it. I'd never say anything about it. I would be hard on him in front of people because that's the way that I coach. But he knew, and I knew that he knew, and he could understand what I was saying. Right? It really was like, no, we got to get the best out of you because you're not going to see any competition here that's going to help you. And so you have that group of person. Then you have the group that's like on the team, and this is for us, mere mortals. And then you have the kids that are just on the team because they want to be a part of it. But if you knew what it was like to be in one of those categories of either I am the man and our team wins because I perform, or my teammate is that guy and we need him to perform. You know what that's like. Bryce Harper is that dude, and he carries such a competitive spirit about him. Here's what he said post-game about the stare down. Not one, but 2. Like, you got something to say to me? Watch this. I'm going to whack this thing over the wall.
Motivation did the comment from the Braves shortstop give you going into the game?
No, I mean, it's a super competitive game that we play. And, from both sides of the ball. And I enjoy commentary and things. And like I said, I listen to WIP, and you hear a lot of stuff on there as well at times. And I just enjoy it. It's a part of the reason why we play this game. And there's nothing like it. Everybody's competitive that we play against. And I just really enjoy those moments and the opportunity to play this game and have those moments.
So was there any motivation?
I mean, anytime anybody says something, right? I mean, that's what it's all about.
Did you enjoy staring them down?
Yeah, I mean, I stared right at him.
I love that. Guy's like a serial killer. Like he poisons his Captain Crunch or something. 10-2 your final score. Shout out to the Phillies for getting the job done last night, and they still got one more to go. But that's a pretty big accomplishment. A Braves team that was 104-58 this year, 52-29 on the road, and now Philly leading the series 2-1, winning that pivotal Game 3 can close things out. The Astros win their series against the Twinkies, winning 3-2 last night. Congratulations for them. The Arizona Diamondbacks. Wow, swept the L.A. Dodgers, who might be cursed. They might be. They were 162 this season, and they are out after the ALDS. And sometimes, look, you got to play in that wild card. You might come in with a little extra juice on tonight's slate in MLB's postseason. Braves, Phillies, TBS, 8:07, center stage. Got to throw it on a screen. Got to see more Bryce Harper, more of the long ball. Chicks dig the long ball, Bryce. He knows it. I know it. You know it. We're going to step aside. When we return, not just MLB's postseason tonight, but the Detroit Red Wings 2023-24 season opener. We'll talk to George Malik about it next here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. He is a managing partner at Bean Garter, soon to be Dorn Mayhew, and they'll be stronger together. And did you know Bean Garter can help your business with outsourcing your payroll and other business needs that can help ease tax filing and year-end reporting, compliance reporting, human resources management, time and attendance tracking, and more. Just go to BeanGarter.com to find out more how they can help your payroll system and make your workplace that much smoother. Go to BeanGarter.com. That's BeanEnergar.com, and they can help you with all your payroll needs. Like I mentioned, tax filing and year-end reporting, compliance reporting, human resources management, time and attendance tracking, and more. All your payroll needs can be handled by the team at Bean Garter. Find out more at BeanGarter.com.
Ladies, let's go see some men. The show, Friday, November 17th at Soaring Eagle Casino. Come meet the men of your wicked dreams for an affordable night of laughs and maybe some mischief. Oh my. The boys are backing down. Tickets for 18 plus, just $25. On sale now at the box office and etix.com. Sexy costumes, hot dance moves. Your sensational night of fun returns. Hunks, the show, November 17th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Oh my.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at FreddieThePizzaMan.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit FreddieThePizzaMan.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
You're listening to Michigan's statewide morning show, X's and Bros, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ryan Elke, Ben Glaze, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. And folks, we got a doubleheader tonight. Pistons on the road in Oklahoma City to take on the Thunder in some preseason action. But we're going to drop the puck and tip the regular season off with the Detroit Red Wings taking on the New Jersey Devils. And who better to talk about the season than our good friend, George Malik. You can find him on Twitter at George Malik. Ready for the Malik Report. George, my friend, first and foremost, thanks for taking the time to join us. How are you? How's life? How are things now on the day of the opener, the season opener, not the home opener? That's not till Saturday.
Things are going pretty well. Thanks for asking. I'm excited, to be honest with you. I'm very excited. It's going to be an interesting season, to say the least.
Now, when we look at this season and some of the moves made by Steve Yzerman this offseason, where do you put this, the quote-unquote rebuild at right now? And that seems to be a question that Stevie Y is getting asked a lot. People want to know, hey, are we done with the rebuild? What's going on here? Where do you kind of place it, on a timetable with some of these veteran additions to this club?
To be honest, again, I'm going to say to be honest with you, because there's been so much bashing of the Yzer plan, and it's so fashionable right now to just suggest that things are going off track and that the signing of so many veterans was just completely derailed, the process of rebuilding. I think they're somewhere in the middle toward getting competitive. I think that right now the team is at a point where they needed some veterans to be added to the team to insulate some of the youngsters and to push the team forward in what is an incredibly competitive Atlantic Division and an incredibly competitive Eastern Conference. It's very hard to say whether they're going to make the playoffs this season. Everything was going to have to go right for them is the line that I've been using. Because, so much can happen in terms of injuries, in terms of guys not gelling. When you've got 10 new players on the roster, that's obviously a concern in terms of chemistry and in terms of systems play and so many other things. But I think that it's still in the middle. I think that we didn't realize how much Steve had to tear down before he began to build up. And I don't disagree with the coach and general manager's comments that to some extent bringing in more veterans and allowing the younger players to quote unquote marinate in Grand Rapids is not necessarily a bad thing for the overall rebuild as it goes forward.
I feel the same way, and I was kind of surprised and shocked that people took the signing of some guys and going out and getting a guy like Alex DeBrincat in some of the other veterans that they have brought in. I was surprised to see, I don't know if backlash is the right word, but so many people disagreeing with it because, I feel the same way. In any professional sports league, if you trot out a bunch of 20, 21, 22-year-olds, it's going to be a long year. And that not only a long year in the win-loss column, but it's going to be a long year for them. And there are going to be some times where a guy's going to play less than 10 minutes. There's going to be some times where a guy goes on a little bit of a point drought or, he's getting shaken up a little bit physically. And you're going to need some adults in the room to be able to help some of these young fellas weather the storm. And, Mo Sider and Lucas Raymond entering year number 3. This is the first year in how many years we haven't had a first or second year player on the opening night roster. It's going to take some time for some of these guys to get up. And at the same time, when you have guys like Jonathan Berggren, Cross Hannes, Elmer's down there, Simon Edvinson, all at Grand Rapids, you want to see those guys get a whole bunch of playing time and perform well there so we kind of know what we have when it's time to eventually bring them up.
The harsh truth of the matter is that in the NHL, if you want a prospect to make the NHL on a full-time basis, they have to steal an NHL player's job. Over the course of the last couple of seasons, the Red Wings have been, let's say, thin enough that they've been able to bring up some prospects and give them some very good NHL experience. And at the same time, I just don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing to give them the challenge of having to to steal somebody's job to build their own, to build themselves up in the AHL, to play well for the Grand Rapids Griffins, and then to mature to the point that they're ready to come up to the NHL full time and not only play, but play a starring role or a key role, as opposed to just playing on the fourth line and playing on, like you said, playing for 10 minutes or getting into a goalless slump and really not having any support there. I'm not necessarily saying that the dissent is a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with having a different opinion, and I'm not necessarily saying here that in my perfect world, the Red Wings don't just take the young players, glob them all on the roster. Everything goes right for them, and suddenly they've got this powerhouse team of completely consisting of players under the age of 26, 27. You know, to some extent, that's always the dream, is that all of the prospects pan out and that all of the prospects are going to be key players. But that doesn't take reality into account, I think.
Yeah, and reality is harsh. And if all that's going to work out, go grab a Powerball ticket, and then you don't have to work anymore, right? I mean, that's basically what you're asking for, everything to go right. And we saw the injury bug. We saw that last year just really kind of derail and upend some things. And then at the trade deadline, that fateful weekend in Ottawa, the 2-game series there against the Senators, that kind of felt like that was the straw that broke the camel's back for that season. And coming into this year, they're able to add a guy like Alex DeBrincat. Now, throughout the course of the preseason, we saw that line of Larkin, DeBrincat, and Lucas Raymond. Those three seem like they have already gelled very well together. I'm on record here, George, saying that Alex DeBrincat is going to be better than what people thought or maybe expected him to be. I think that he's going to elevate the play of both Larkin and Raymond. They will elevate his play, and that is going to be a dynamite top line for this club.
I think that regardless of whether it ends up being Larkin and Raymond, Larkin and Perron, or Larkin and Rasmussen, on the top line, you know, what I've watched from DeBrincat during the preseason games, and I watched 6 of them. There were ways, let's put it that way, to watch all 8 of them. DeBrincat is a lot better than I ever thought he would be in terms of his skating, in terms of his playmaking, and in terms of digging pucks out and on the forecheck. I came into the preseason, and I came into my opinion of Alex DeBrincat from watching him from afar. And when you watch him from afar, you notice that he's an excellent sniper, that he generates scoring chances, and that he puts home pucks. But he does a lot more than that. And I don't think that he gets enough credit for being a more complete player than anybody really had any idea that he was before he came to Detroit. And while I think that the Red Wings definitely need a dedicated forechecker on that line, whether it is Raymond or somebody else, time will tell. I think that they're going to have a productive top line, and that once DeBrincat really adjusts to all the systems play and things become to the point that he doesn't really have to think about what he's going to be doing on a certain play or a particular rush or to regroup in the offensive zone, I think that the potential there is really significant.
George Malik, what do you believe is the biggest weakness in this team? What's the biggest area or cause of concern that the Red Wings have?
For me, the biggest cause of concern, the biggest weakness is still the lack of difference makers in terms of being offensive contributors, both up front and on the blue line. And that is something that I really hate to say it, is only going to be solved by time. And as far as I believe, especially with the salary cap going up a significant amount this upcoming off season, time and free agents, by importing, and God forbid we use that word in Metro Detroit, by importing some talent into Detroit over the course of the next couple of summers. I think that it is going to take prospect development and some free agents to really fill out the Red Wings lineup to the point that that there are third and fourth line players that are more likely to be scoring threats. That there are guys on the second and third pairing. You know, you look at somebody like Jeff Petrie, who is going to be a second or third pair guy. The Red Wings didn't have his kind of offense. They had to go out and search for it, and thankfully Petrie sort of landed in their lap after that sort of cluster of a trade between Pittsburgh and Montreal and San Jose. You know, they're looking for younger players that can do that, but not everybody pans out. And so as the salary cap goes up and as the Red Wings' competitive advantage in that realm returns, they're going to have to import some talent as well. And long term, that's the reality of player development, is that not everybody pans out, and you have to meld the significant investment in prospect development with player acquisitions.
George, with the third worst goals against in the Atlantic Division last year, in fourth worst goals against in the entire Eastern Conference, are you concerned at all about the play between the pipes there in the goaltending, or is that more of a product, you think, of, you know, maybe just some lapses there on the blue line, untimely turnovers? We've seen that over the course of the last couple of years where, you know, they're serving up hot and readies, you know, between the circles. And it's like, well, I mean, the other team's got professionals too. They're going to take advantage of that if you turn it over in your own zone, especially right out in front. But do we have the goaltending to be able to keep us in there?
I mean, definitely I'm still concerned about the goaltending overall, because Billy Husso, although he's 28 years old, you know, last year was his first year as a starter. And because the Red Wings didn't have a real competent backup goaltender who was going to be able to come in there and right the ship when it was listing to the right with 3 vents lost, to quote the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, they just, Husso had a rough go. He got injured and he was banged up, you know, probably a groin or something like that, and he had to play, and he broke down over the course of games 50 through 80. He really struggled, and he didn't have anybody to back him up. I think that's why they went out and they didn't just get a guy like Reimer, who had a rough season in San Jose, but is probably at this stage of his career much better calibrated to become a backup goaltender and provide some support. But they also brought in Alex Lyon from Florida as somebody who is going to be, you know, that 2A, 2B guy that can also provide a steadying influence. And you know, the move that nobody has really talked about is that the Red Wings had the Griffins sign Michael Hutchinson to a tryout as well. So the Red Wings have really stacked up their backup goaltending to the point that if Husso goes down, or if Husso needs relief because the workload is too heavy at a 55-60 game pace, they're going to have some realistic alternatives. And I think that is incredibly important in the sport, that it's not just you've got Husso and you've got a backup, but you've got a Husso, you've got a backup, and then you've got another guy and you've got another guy, just in case things don't work out with Reimer in terms of bouncing back from his season in San Jose, or in case a couple guys get hurt, which is the reality of the sport these days.
Am I naive to believe that this team, George, that was, 35, 37, and 10? So what I like to do is take the overtime losses, and I know they get a point for the sake of the point. But if you just take the overtime losses and add them into the loss column, we get to it. We get to the the old-fashioned way of being able to do this. If you get to 42 and 40, you're sitting pretty, and you can make the playoffs. You just got to finish a couple games over 500. Am I naive to believe that with 35 wins last year, that is attainable this year?
I don't think you're naive to believe that it's attainable this year. I think that, again, everything is going to have to go right in terms of not just injuries, but in terms of, the 10 new players adapting to the new team, gelling together. They certainly looked fantastic during the preseason. They won 5 out of 8 games. But preseason is practice. And what we're going to have to see, you look at the schedule ahead. It's not fun from the beginning. It's New Jersey. It's Tampa Bay. Maybe you get a gimme against Columbus, but then it's Pittsburgh, and then it's off to Ottawa. Home game against Calgary, which is improving, and the rest of the month of October. The Red Wings are going to have to come together in a hurry. They're going to have to generate chemistry. They're going to have to generate offense, and at the same time, those veterans they brought in on the blue line are going to have to emphasize team defense while steadying the back end and giving Moritz Seider and giving Jake Wallman some time off the ice, because to some extent the Red Wings were only competitive defensively last season when Seider and Wallman were on the ice. And I think that we also forget that, especially for defensemen, Moritz Seider is still on that learning curve at 21 years of age, and that Jake Wallman coming into the league a little later, he's not perfect yet. They're certainly going to be defensive stars, and Moritz might be a superstar, but they need help.
We all need help going into this season. I'm going to need some serious help. 82-0, George. That's what I'm looking for. 82-0. We could find out later on this evening whether that's going to happen or not. His name, George Malik. Find him on Twitter at George Malik. Find his work, MalikReport.com. That's where you can read his words, TheMalikReport.com. George, my friend, is always partner. I appreciate the time so very much. Thank you, and enjoy the game later on this evening. Let's touch base soon.
All right. Thank you for having me, and go Red Wings.
Getting ready to do that hockey. That's what we're getting ready to do. Let's do that hockey tonight. Boy, I'm looking forward to it. Go on. You know what? Let's just make sure that we can make it through the first period without giving up a goal, or at least the first minute. A couple years ago, Ryan would do his Red Wing tracker. It was like, hey, if they score in the first minute, I could flip over to the other station. I don't think that's going to be the case, Mr. Elke. I don't think that's going to be the case this year. The NFL is going strong. We got Thursday night football tonight. DraftKings Sportsbook hooking up new customers with an offer that's even stronger. Bet $5 on any game this week. Score $200 in bonus bets instantly. DraftKings isn't stopping there. All new customers can take advantage of a sweetener offer every game day this October. Get in on all the game day greatness. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. Promo code HUGE. New customers score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet just $5 on the National Football League. Promo code HUGE only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline. 800-270-7117. 21 plus Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Thanks to George Malik for joining us there in hour number 2, talking a little Red Wings. Coming up in hour number 3, Pistons and Wings tonight, the AB Top 25 and more. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for my good friend Matt Golden. Now, he's the CEO and GM at the Tullymore Golf Resort. They're in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids. And fall golf is here, and they have some huge deals you can take advantage of on stay-and-play packages, tee times, and more. Just go to TullymoreGolf.com. That is TullymoreGolf.com. Also, if you want to book a Christmas party for the holidays, you want to squeeze in a business meeting with some golf and great food and beverages, Matt Golden and his team can take care of you right now. Go to TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com. They're also booking big groups who want stay-and-play packages, or maybe you just want to look ahead to the perfect weekend in 2024. Remember, Tullymore is less than an hour north of GR in Canadian Lakes, Michigan. Book your stay-and-play package or get more info now at TullymoreGolf.com.
He hasn't made a putt all day, but if he makes this one, we're all cracking a Labatt.
Hold it. Did you say if your buddy makes this putt, we're all cracking a Labatt? How about a Labatt Blue Light?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, you can do it!
It's a left-to-right break, just outside the cup, a touchdown hill.
Appreciate the support. You guys mind if I putt now?
Oh, yeah, sure. best putt ever.
Because making the big shot is better with a big crowd. Labatt takes everything to the power of we. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer 2023, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt Regulations, U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company, Limited. Hey, buddy, where's my Labatt Blue Light? He made the putt, for crying out loud. I want my Labatt Blue Light.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
Fuel up for less with M-Perks. Earn points on your purchases when you shop at Meijer in-store and online. Then use your points to claim a fuel reward and save at the pump. Your dollar goes further at the pump with M-Perks. Plus, earn points for all qualifying purchases in the Meijer Express station. And keep a lookout for exclusive Meijer Express offers. Enter your M-Perks ID at checkout to earn. Exclusions apply. Not valid in Wisconsin. Max 30 gallons. Download the Meijer app to sign up or see Meijer.com to learn more.
Coming up later today at 3, huge opinions on everything I want to talk about. It's the Huge Show at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny in the corner!
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win! The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker! Kenneth Walker! Touchdown! Spotty!
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up.
Yes!
Caught! Touchdown Detroit Lions! They did it! Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end!
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here! A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here. X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining us now from Paramount Sports, as he does on a Thursday. Our good buddy Lee Sterling. Find him on Twitter at Paramount Sports. Lee, I'm going to forward you this email, but I just got this email from a guy named Ryan. And it said guest on fire. And I was like, Ryan's got a guest on fire? Like, what happened? I thought it was from Ryan Elke in the studio, but it's not. He said, thanks so much for putting Lee Sterling on. Dude has changed my life gambling since I signed up a month ago. He's 40-14 for me. I haven't been this hot since I hooked up with the Miller twins in high school. Have a great day. From Ryan. So, not Ryan in the studio, but Ryan is all in on our list of games this week. Lee, what's going on, my friend?
Probably the greatest month of all time. Not only, I think a couple of the pushes he got wins on, I try to grade pretty fairly. Let's say there's 36 different places, offshore, Vegas, things like that. If more than half have it one way, we have to grade it based on that line. What the line was, pretty much the true line most of the day. Sometimes you can get a line change a half point in the last 5-10 minutes, but not a lot of people get that line. So, yeah, actually, our numbers are very close to his. Like I said, he probably got a couple wins on those pushes, but the last 5 weeks were 41-16-1. For the season, we're 47-21-2. That's one win away from 70%. If we win tonight, we'll have won 70% for almost 2.5 months. So not only on top of that record, our biggest plays, we rate them from 10 to 50 units. Anything 35 units and above is 5-0 this year. So it's really like being like 50, 51, and 21. So incredible run that we've had. And this is what I'm going to do. I know there's a lot of people out there that would love to join me. Tonight I've got a big game in college football. You can get the game by itself. You don't have to sign up for a month, a season. $25 for my Thursday night big. It's a big, I call my Thursday night thriller release, and also our first 40 to 50 unit college release of the season goes this weekend. You can jump on board. We call it not October, we call it Locktober. 3 weeks, $247. One place, ParamountSports.com.
All right, let's lock in here. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish are going to host USC's 7:30 night game because all their games now are at night. A lot of ranked opponents. USC, they can't stop anybody defensively. They got a high-powered offense. Does Notre Dame have enough on defense as a 2-point favorite at home to stop Caleb Williams?
Here's something interesting. We all know USC has one of the top 2-3 offenses in the country, and Caleb Williams is going to probably be the number one pick. But did you know that USC is number 8 in the country in sacks? So I think they take chances if you look at their defense and their games to get to the quarterback, to get turnovers. Yeah, they give up some points, but they also get the ball back quick here. Sam Hartman was sacked 5 times last week at Louisville. Nice little blueprint to get to him. Notre Dame offense, nothing special. 20 and 21 points the last 2 weeks versus Duke and Louisville. Sam Hartman just 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions the last 2 weeks. I think Notre Dame's played out. They look tired. They're also 0-5 the last 5 games as a home favorite. USC stays unbeaten, 37-30.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Tough one. Our next one, Ohio State's a 19-point favorite against Purdue. That game's on Peacock, so none of us can watch it. The third-ranked Buckeyes, they looked pretty good last week in the fourth quarter, struggled a little bit. Think Maryland's a lot better than people expect. This one should be all Buckeyes.
It's crazy. There's a couple games every week on Peacock. That's, it's an extra, $4.99, $5.99 a month. So
squeezing.
I've got to do it. If you're a Michigan fan, you pony up and you pay it. It actually has some other pretty good stuff on there, as per my wife and daughter. So crazy here that Michigan not going to be tested for another month. They beat up on Minnesota and Nebraska, 97-17 the last 2 weeks. I expect some new wrinkles here as people are following it. IU put in a new offensive coordinator, Rod Carey, in the bye week. So, they played Ohio State tough, lost 23-3. Also played Louisville tough, who we now know is a real good team, 21-14. A bye week shakeup worked for Georgia Tech, as we saw beat my Hurricanes here. Hoosiers 6-2 against the spread, the last 8 at the Big House. Michigan wins 45-17, but Indiana covers.
Wow. All right. Hey, look, you got to have Peacock if you want to watch some of these games. They're not getting me, though, Lee. I'm standing up for the little guy. That's what I'm doing. The Cowboys, can they get back on track against the L.A. Chargers, or is Justin Herbert and that offense from L.A. too much?
Austin Eckler back is going to make a big difference. Also, what's lost is a lot of people don't realize you got Kellen Moore coming back and playing against his old team, coaching against Mike McCarthy here, coming off the bye. You don't think he was even working on stuff over the summer that he knows would work here? I think that's a huge advantage here. And believe it or not, even with Kellen Moore out of the way, McCarthy brought in a new offensive coordinator. Dallas's offensive yards per snap is down a half yard less than last season here. Wrong team favored. Chargers 26-23 over the Cowboys.
I love that. You know what they call the L.A. Chargers? Their nickname is Bellino's Bolts. I didn't know if you knew that, but that's my West Coast team. Yeah.
Okay. I like it. My future son-in-law is a Chargers fan, so we root for the Chargers.
I know I am.
Yeah.
You're telling me I'm a Chargers fan. I know this.
My daughter, her fiance is a Chargers fan. He's from L.A.
Hey, well, you know what? Look, I'm not from L.A., but hey, Pops, good to meet you. All right, we got the Lions -3 on the road. They shifted this game time because it's so big. Yeah. They need a larger national audience. Will the Tampa Bay Buccaneers be able to defend Raymond James Stadium, or are my Lions going to walk out of there firing the cannons at 5-1?
This is going to be a rock'em sock'em ball game here. I mean, this is not going to be for the faint of heart. There's going to be hitting. Both teams' line play is very good. There's a reason why Tampa Bay is leading division. Now they get the bye week to prepare for this game here. Detroit's beaten up. They got a bunch of guys, offensive line, offensive backfield, receiver, not 100% here. I think Detroit wins the game 17-16, but I think you take the 3 points here in a low-scoring game. Last team with the ball might win this game.
All right, so we could take Detroit on the money line then and feel good about it. We don't even have to worry about the points. We get to scrap that. You got a free play as well. Vikings, 3-point favorites against the Bears. No Justin Jefferson for the Vikings. The Bears, no offensive line. Can both teams lose?
Maybe. You want to get the game for free, give me a call. I've had a real good feel going 4 against Chicago all season. First 10 callers get it for free. Call 800-400-9741. First 10 callers get the Vikings and the Bears on me, 800-400-9741. As I mentioned, tonight's game, you want to purchase it singly, $25, have a real strong feel on it. We haven't lost a Thursday night game since the opening week of the season. You want to knock it down, $25. One place, ParamountSports.com.
ParamountSports.com. His name, Lee Sterling. Find him on Twitter at Paramount Sports. Lee, I forwarded the email from Ryan. That's a classic testimonial for you. So you enjoy that, my friend. Have a great weekend. Let's make it a winning weekend, and we'll touch base next week.
Sounds good. See you, Anthony.
There he goes, Lee Sterling. Love that guy. He didn't know that, I, as his future son-in-law, just I'm a Bolts fan. I mean, it's all working out. It's all working out. All right, we're going to step aside. When we return, doubleheader of action. Yeah, we got college football tonight. We've got professional football tonight. We got football galore going on. Broncos Chiefs on Prime Video. How many will the Chiefs win by? 10.5-point favorites. Line seems a little low. We'll get into that. Plus Red Wings, Pistons, both tonight. My top 25. Don't go anywhere. Michigan Sports Network.
It's time to go in the huddle.
1, 2, 3, top flight.
It's a new day to celebrate and be free. It's a new day full of action and excitement because it's a new day for winning only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. It's a new day. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com. Week 6 of college football was absolutely chaotic. The Georgia Bulldogs flexed their muscle, routing an undefeated and 20th-ranked Kentucky team 51-13. Louisville handed Notre Dame their second loss in 3 games by a score of 33-20. Oklahoma rocked the Red River rivalry, beating then number 3 Texas 34-30. USC needed 3 OTs to beat a 3-2 Arizona team. Washington State lost their first game of the season to UCLA, as did the darling Fresno State when they fell to Wyoming. Not to mention the Rambling Wreck upsetting the U in Coral Gables. It took half the season, but now things are really starting to get wild in college football. Not 1 but 2 games of the week in Week 7. A Pac-12 matchup of undefeateds with number 8 Oregon traveling to number 7 Washington at 3:30 on ABC. And number 10 USC heads to 21st ranked Notre Dame at 7:30 on NBC.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's pumpkin coin toss, and you can carve out wicked premium play prizes up to $3,000. There are drawings every Friday in October from 5 to 11 p.m. and 2 lucky guests every hour toss to win up to $3,000 premium play. Be there for Pumpkin Coin Toss, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org. Coming up later today at 3, huge opinions on everything I want to talk about. It's the Huge Show at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide. On the iHeartRadio app, we say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Craig says, good morning update. Listening this morning, all of a sudden, 7:50. Oh, receiver switched up there. GRY. All right, I'll send the message, Craig. I'll get it up there to him. Had to hear about Kelsey and Swift relationship for 10 minutes. Help, Anthony. Yeah, I don't care. It's probably going to end poorly for all parties. She'll make an album out of it. Just kind of is what it is. The NFL's pandering to the Swifties. I mean, some people don't see it as a big deal, which is totally fine. It shouldn't be a big deal, but it is a big deal when you have maybe some controversy in the NFL talking about, the Chiefs are 2-0 since, Kelsey and Swift. Like, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's an issue. That's, for all the modules I had to take about gambling and integrity of the game and all this, that, and the third, it's like, well, you should probably just stick to football. Just stick to football. That's what I'm trying my hardest right now to stick to sports. I really am. It's an uphill battle, but I'm trying hard. So I just want to let you all know that. Good morning to all of our newest affiliates as well. So great to have you with us. Freddie's on the line, wants to talk Pistons and Red Wings. I'd love to talk Pistons and Red Wings. Freddie, good morning to you, my friend. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Bellino. How are you?
I'm doing well, Mr. Bello. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, you have a suggestion box there? I was just curious.
Yeah. You can email us anytime you'd want. xbmornings@gmail.com. Fan feedback email inbox. Holla at your boy.
Yeah, I have a few suggestions. One, you need to text. We got to get you a little bit better at reading text. We got to get you a little bit better at reading text. So
okay.
We got to figure that out.
Yeah.
And Scott GR yesterday, after my phone call yesterday, apparently he doesn't listen well. We got to fix his ears. We got to fix your text reading. And I said yes.
Well, you got to learn how to spell first off before you come out here and slander me. You got to use autocorrect or something.
Well,
95% of it's like reading hieroglyphics. I'm like, I don't know what the hell that means. It's something about Zach Wilson.
Well, I misspelled on purpose to upset you. But, Scott GR yesterday, I specifically said yesterday, Jack Campbell and Gibbs, I didn't say they weren't good players. We're not getting anything from them, and we're still 5-1. That's all I said. Got to put your listening ears on. And can we put a report in? I know David from Hudsonville has been missing, and Bill from Knoxville has been missing. Where's Danny from Brighton? I mean, Michigan is 8-0. I mean, where's Danny from Brighton?
6-0.
What's going on here?
I think he's just waiting. He's waiting for his time to pounce. That's next week. That's next week where you got to walk into the stadium with a sledgehammer. All that banter and chatter about Michigan fans better not go to the game. You better run. It's going to be a bloodbath. He's not going to go to the game, Mel Tucker. Bing bong. Sorry.
I'll be honest with you. I'm looking forward to that game next week. I want to see an upset. But anyway,
of course you do.
Of
course you do.
Because it makes good sports radio. Sports radio's been.
What makes great sports radio? A 500-0 blowout on their own field. That's what makes great sports radio.
So the Red Wings yesterday, I got to be honest with you, the coach yesterday was doing his rounds, the head coach, Lalone.
Uh-huh.
I got to tell you, I like this guy. I like his honesty. He's like Dan Campbell. He's a straight shooter, and he was honest about the team, and I love how they asked him about Yzerman. How's Yzerman different here than Tampa Bay? He's no different. He's building the team the same way, but Yzerman did have the advantage of when he took over the team, he had 2 Hall of Famers already on the team. So I love the honesty and all that. Didn't the Red Wings draft a young goalie?
Yes.
When is he coming up? I thought it was a couple years ago.
I think he's in. Does he have one more year at juniors? I think he got drafted, and then last year would have been his first year post draft in juniors, and then did he get? No, because then he got called. No, 2 years ago he was in juniors. Last year he spent some time with the Toledo Walleye, so he'll be in the system. But
okay, and they said that the kid, that Nate Danielson, the kid that they drafted, had to go down and play in. I think he said juniors, so he wasn't eligible to come up.
Correct.
But,
well, he could have come up, but he would have had to have been on the NHL roster. He could not go be rostered within the system. So it's either go back to juniors or you're on the big league team. And they decided that juniors is probably the best fit for him.
Yeah. The loan was impressive yesterday. It's the first time I kind of really heard him in an interview. He made the rounds yesterday on a few shows, and just like the honesty. So I'm looking forward to it. But anyways. The Pistons. Now, I told you, I've been telling you for a while, I'm really, really excited to see this Ansar Thompson play. I don't know what it is, but I'm excited to see this kid play. He just seems like there's a lot of buzz around him. Now, I got to be honest with you. I want honesty from you. You don't hear much about Killian Hayes. You think Monty Williams is going to be able to help this kid, and this kid might actually be productive for the team?
I don't
even
think
if it's
that
off the bench.
Yeah, I don't think he was even not productive last year. To be honest with you, I mean he's a quality defender at the guard position. He's just not just his draft placement put a target on his forehead, and that's kind of the unfortunate thing about Killian Hayes, where you're looking at that specific position in your top 10, and you're not looking for a guy that's going to just be a career backup, because that's what he is. I think it's very interesting that Monty has. They've been talking about moving Jaden Ivey and bringing him in off the bench. And I think that, Ivey's going to get obviously some run with some of the guys that are starters. But in order to win games, like you're going to have your stars got to play well. That's first and foremost. But secondly, you're going to have some production with your second unit. And I really think that with all this pressure now alleviated from Killian Hayes, all he's got to do is go in there, facilitate the offense, and defend. That's it. If he can score a couple buckets a game, that's fine. But all that other stress is basically off of him as the focal point of the team has shifted. So I think Monty Williams is going to do wonders for all of these guys. I really do. He's the best coach we've had since Larry Brown.
Yeah, I'm actually. I said it a few times. I'm actually looking forward to the Pistons season. I'll be honest with you. I hope they start out pretty strong so that they're worth watching. Because if they're not, it's going to suck. So, anyways, have a good day and. Have a prosperous, beautiful day.
Thank you. You as well, Freddie. You have a prosperous day as well. By the way, the goaltender is Sebastian Cossa. He was with the Edmonton Oil Kings when he was drafted in 2021. And then he had a 33-9-3 record with a .913 save percentage and a 2.28 goals against average, which are very, very good numbers. The 2022-23 he went to the Walleye, played 46 games. He was 26-16-1, 913 save percentage again, a 256 goals against average, which is just fine. They made a run. He was 5-2-0 in the playoffs. So we'll see. He went up, joined the Griffins at the AHL level. Goals against average went up to 557, save percentage 783. It wasn't the performance that really anybody was hoping for, and so now we'll see if there is a better track record for this 23-24 season, if there's more consistency there, because you got to settle in. If you're a first rounder and you're picked, this could be a really good year for him to make a jump, which would be very nice. And I'm not worried about Ville Husso. Now we have a capable backup goaltender to alleviate some stress, but it would be good to see him, Sebastian Cossa, get that footing there in GR, be the guy, put together a really quality season, and then be able to turn that into, hopefully a consistent goaltender that we can have for a decade between the pipes. Fingers crossed. Step aside. Back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archived boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
There are 13 folds that bring the American flag to the iconic shape of freedom. This summer, Folds of Honor and Budweiser celebrate 13 years of changing military and first responder lives together. Service never stops, and neither will we. So join me in raising a Budweiser to raise funds for Folds of Honor.
Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
If you wait long enough, the pendulum swings in the other direction. All across Michigan, police academies are filling up. In fact, new sections are being added to accommodate the brave men and women making the decision to protect and serve. The Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police commends and welcomes these selfless, community-minded officers joining our ranks. We know we have more work to do, and with your help, the pendulum will swing in favor for all of Michigan.
miss any of today's show? Find our podcast and listen on demand on Google, Apple, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino, here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Sizzling Sundays continuing on, folks, at the beautiful Tullymore Golf Resort, Canadian Lakes, Michigan, offering not one but two championship courses. Tullymore and St. Ives, located an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. Here's the deal. You get 18 holes this Sunday, a sizzling steak dinner in the beautiful Tullymore Clubhouse, overnight accommodations right on the ground, and 18 more holes on Monday, all for just $199. What you need to do is call my friend Matt Golden right now, 1-800-972-4837, 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play in the sizzling Sunday at Tullymore today before time runs out, because the weather is changing. Got some great weather yesterday for the old golf league. 60 degrees and sunny. It was almost kind of warm out there, but I was dressed appropriately, so that's why I felt that way. All right, welcome back. That's Ben Glazer, Ryan Elke. You can text the keyword Sports Radio, send that to 21,000, Sports Radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. All right, so I got into my my top 25 for this week. And Georgia is still the defending champ. And if you listen to this program, then you know, if you want to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. But until they get beat, they still have the belt. They still have the crown. You can't move them out of number one. It doesn't matter if they won every game this season by 1 point. They're still the defending champion. You still have to be able to beat them. Somebody's got to be able to guard Brock Bowers. Like, somebody has got to be able to stop that man. And after Michigan's clear-cut dominant victory over Minnesota, I have them at 2. And I know that's going to bother people like Freddie. I know it is. But, and look, I know it's Minnesota, but that's what we were looking for in the first 3 weeks, 52-10, right? That's what we've been looking for. Outscoring opponents in the last 3 weeks, 128 to 24 is pretty drastic. So I got Michigan there at number 2. Oklahoma beat Texas in a big-time game. 2 very good teams. I don't think it's that bad for Texas. So when Oklahoma beats Texas, I move Oklahoma up to 3, and I move Texas down to 11. Because I still think Texas is good. They definitely have to fix their red zone offense, though. I mean, to be ranked in triple digits in the nation, there's only 133 teams that play. Like, you got to fix what's going on in the red zone with Quinn Ewers and company. You can't be turning the ball over there. So I got Oklahoma at 3. Ohio State played a tough game against Maryland. And then coming around turn 4, Kentucky Derby style, just pulled away and hit the turbo boosters, and boom, they blew them out 17-0 there in that fourth and final frame. So I have them at 4. I have Oregon at 5. I still am uncomfortable with Oregon at number 5 because I just don't know how good that defense is. And that's an issue that we have with some of these Pac-12 teams. Now, whether this is a product of the fact that their offenses in the Pac-12 having a historic year, one of the best years they've ever had, especially at the quarterback position. I mean, the Pac-12 as a conference has like 4 guys that might go first round. Like, it's crazy. Craziness right now. However, the Ducks have not played anybody really of substantial value. I know Colorado was in the top 25. I get that, but they boat raced them. Colorado didn't have a defense. Colorado barely beat Colorado State. So we all bought in on the hype train a little bit. Let's see what Prime does. Got to get them now. Oregon's wins are Portland State, Texas Tech, Hawaii, Colorado, and Stanford, to the tune of 51-7, 38-30 against Texas Tech, 55-10 against Hawaii, 42-6 against both Colorado and Stanford. They'll get my next team, the Washington Huskies, who I have in at number 6. Now, this is a great game, 3:30 on ABC. This is one of our games of the week this week, outside of our own games. But here's Washington, the same Washington team that, well, went on the road and beat Michigan State. And I think that even though Michigan State's having a putrid year, you still should get some credit for going on the road and taking care of business. Now, I had a little bit of a scare last week against Arizona because you get a stop against some of these Pac-12 teams. what happens next. That's why Oregon-Washington could be really fun. Oregon-Washington could look like a tennis match with the amount of back and forth you might see from these offenses, right? Defenses have played relatively subpar competition. Offense has gone up big, forcing teams to play a specific way, eliminating the run game out of that, and there you have it. I have Penn State at number 7. I still think Penn State might be a little bit overvalued, a little bit. I mean, we're a couple passes away in that early game against West Virginia from singing a completely different tune against Penn State, but I'm interested in them. Florida State I have at number 8, followed up by USC at number 9. USC just cannot defend anybody. They can't. And that, Oregon, Washington, USC, right? More Pac-12, more Pac-tion, if you will. Like this is, and they're going to have a big-time game against Notre Dame. Notre Dame, this could be it for the Fighting Irish and Marcus Freeman. They're already on life support. They're already going to get the benefit of the doubt because they have the ND logo and Touchdown Jesus and all that good stuff. They lose this game, their season is over. And they went from, hey, could Notre Dame potentially be a candidate for the college football playoff to, can Notre Dame go to the Quick Lane Bowl? Now, USC is going to have to score, obviously. 3 overtimes against Arizona, that's an issue. Straight up, that is an issue. We'll see, because USC's got Notre Dame this week, followed up by Utah in the following game, along with Washington, Oregon, and UCLA. So for the games that USC has played and played well and put up a lot of points and won other games, they are going to come down the stretch against 5 current teams in the top 25. That's an issue for USC. North Carolina's been shocking. I mean, UNC, good for them. They've done enough right now to be right there on the cusp. I still don't necessarily believe it. This is a big game they have this week. They'll bring in the U to Chapel Hill. The Miami Hurricanes, awful loss this past week. I have Miami at number 23 in the country. They will visit North Carolina, 7:30 on ABC. Got to Texas at 11. Explain that. Alabama at 12. At the end of the day, it's still Alabama. It's still Nick Saban. They're still going to be really well coached, still really well prepared. Can they protect and defend Jalen Milroe, though? That's my biggest question with Alabama. He took some shots last week. He got blindsided and got absolutely clobbered. Loose ball, fumble. They end up surviving, but still, sweaty palms time. They'll get 2-4 Arkansas, noon kickoff ESPN. That'll be a boat race. Ole Miss at 13, Louisville all the way up to 14. I'm cool with that. Oregon State at 15, Duke at 16, followed by Utah, Tennessee, UCLA, Washington State, right? These are all the one-loss teams. I got Maryland in at 5-1 at number 21 in the country. I think Maryland's a decent team. I think Tully is a pretty good quarterback. I think they hung with one of the better teams in the nation for 3 quarters. I think they've done more than what some of these other teams have done. So I have them at 21. A game I'd really like to see, Maryland versus Notre Dame. Let's roll that one out there and play that. So Maryland at 21, Kansas at 22, Miami at 23. Miami losing to Georgia Tech is, considering the fact Georgia Tech lost to Bowling Green, that is the sign of a growing pain from a team that thinks they're good but isn't quite yet there, that wants to buy into the hype but just isn't quite yet there, and isn't mentally prepared to go week after week. That is a learned trait, especially at the college football level. You could tell the teams that have some veteran leadership, some guys that have been around the block, that have seen this take place. We talked about it with Chris Wormley. And that's why Michigan at 2 right now, you go into a lesser opponent and you beat them like a drum for 4 quarters. That's what you are supposed to do. That's what veteran teams do. That's what teams that realize that, hey, I'm not worried about social media. I'm not worried about fun dances in the locker room. I'm not worried about all this other BS. All I'm worried about is doing my job at executing our game plan, because we know that we are better than the team across from us. And we're not going to let that go to our head. That's something that has to be learned throughout time at the college football level. And even at the professional level. You have a lapse where you don't come ready to play. Coach Dan Campbell mentioned this last year going on the road to Carolina. He's got the onus. He took the blame. He said, look, my guys weren't ready to play, and that's on me. You got to, there's only so many weeks And you could say it over and over, but until your guys actually believe that, hey, the fate of the universe depends on this game, and you got to approach it like that every game, you can't ride the roller coaster. You can't do it. Another Dan Campbellism. You got to stay even-keeled. This is what we're about. This is how we play. We dictate the course of this football game. That's an us thing. We dictate how this game is played. And once your team believes that, you're dangerous. And then I got a couple of 2-loss teams at the end, LSU and Notre Dame. Notre Dame might be able to climb, or Notre Dame might be 5-3 at the end of this weekend. That is such a monstrous game for Marcus Freeman. Such a big game. And they've had plenty of opportunities. The good thing about ND is, and I can say this about Notre Dame because it happens with my team too, I'm aware that the brand of my team, Michigan, has been stronger than the product for a majority of this 21st century. I am aware of that. Okay? So I can, speaking from experience here, I could say this. Notre Dame got off to a hot start because they played teams like NC State, Tennessee State, the Naval Academy. They're worried about, they have bigger fish to fry in Central Michigan. I'm sorry if that doesn't blow your socks off, but it definitely doesn't do that to me. You played a tight one against Ohio State, right? You got to climb that emotional ladder. Your team is ill-prepared at the end of the game. You don't have enough men on the field. Ohio State runs the football. That game right there changes the course of everything, and that's how quickly a season can flip. You go on the road to Duke, win an emotional game against the Duke Blue Devils, and then come right back and get thumped by Louisville on the road. You have three top 25 opponents in a row. You go 1-2 with a fourth here on the cusp against USC before the end of your schedule. Like, this was it. You got Pitt, Clemson, Wake Forest, Stanford. Like, they're gonna be able to pad some numbers here at the end. Wake Forest and Stanford for sure. Pitt as well. Like, come on, are you serious? That's where I'm at. I probably should have had Duke in there. That's a omission on my part. It is an omission on my part. You know, bye week. And it's like, okay. Yeah, I probably should have Duke in there, you know, somewhere along the lines. Maybe boot Notre Dame just completely out of it. I'd be okay with that. That's not a problem for me. But that's how my top 25 goes, week to week. You win, you advance. You lose, you fall. What's a good spot for Duke? Probably anywhere between 17 and 25, to be honest with you. But we still need to learn a little bit more, I think, about the Duke Blue Devils. And eventually, we are going to, because they have NC State this week, followed up by a road trip to Florida State, a road trip to Louisville, and a road trip to North Carolina. This is all coming up. They're going to play 3 of their next 5 on the road, and 3 of those are against top 25 opponents. So I'm comfortable with where Duke is at if they're 26, because they could fall anywhere in there. They got a lot to prove here, and at least they're going to have the opportunity to do so. Now, when I harp on Notre Dame for the brand being bigger than it, that like I said, that comes from me. I know what that looks like. I'm aware of it. I have been a product of it, if you will. But back-to-back Big Ten championships, back-to-back berths to the college football playoffs. You're starting to see a Michigan football team clicking on most of their cylinders for the time in which the starters are in the game. They got to pull their guys in the fourth quarter anyways. That's a really good problem to have. And I would much rather be in this position today where I finally sort of somewhat believe that, yes, they might actually be able to do this. Like, for the first time after Minnesota, I finally feel like, okay, like this one might be feasible here. I am highly surprised that Indiana versus Michigan is Fox's, big noon kickoff. I am relatively shocked at that, but, so be it, if you will. In the Big Ten this week, that really is, Iowa, Wisconsin, you got a 4-1 Wisconsin team, a 5-1 Iowa team, this one at Camp Randall. I'm looking forward to Mordecai and company. Like, they got to be able to move the ball a little bit better through the air. Iowa's not going to be able to score because they can't. Their offense is completely anemic. So that to me is kind of the game of the week. That's a 4 o'clock kickoff on Fox. That should probably be big noon kickoff this week. I think that's just a better game overall. Be 11 a.m. local time. I'm fine with that. Michigan State heads to Rutgers, a 4-2 Rutgers team. I'm sorry, Ryan. Like, I feel bad. You wait all off season, and we were honest about it. We were honest about it coming into this season. I thought that when asking Ryan about his feelings about the team, like, he was very forward and upfront about the fact that his expectation for the team wasn't crazy. You think if they're a 7-5 club, that's a pretty good year. Right around 500, somewhere in there. It's not like, some folks that, I wrote down 2023's predictions from Freddie, Michigan State at 9-3. That's definitely not going to happen. Unless they want to rattle off 7 straight, which I don't see happening. But, hey, the stranger things have happened. So, and he also had Michigan beating Ohio State but losing to Michigan State and squeaking one out against Penn State. That was on 9/1/2023. So I just made sure to, keep track of that, write it down, put it in the sheet so we could save it forever. That's where I'm at with my top 25. We need more movement in it. Teams should move up and down based on a week-to-week performance, on a week-to-week basis. Like, that's how, in my opinion, it should work. And, I look at, where are we ranked at right now? What's our FPI ranking? I know that people don't like that. The FPI, Football Power Index, both at the collegiate and professional level, kind of accurate. It's kind of accurate. It's a pretty good description of what could potentially take place for your team. I know there's the S&P Plus rankings and all that good stuff. I kind of like FPI. Right now, according to the Football Power Index, Ohio State is the number 1 team in the nation, followed by Oklahoma, Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Texas, Penn State, and Michigan. That's how the FPI has it. Now, the prediction right now, according to the Football Power Index, your win-loss record for Michigan State is 4-8. Your projected win-loss record for Ohio State is 11-1. It's 11.2 to 1.2, so we'll just go to 11-1. Michigan is at 10.7 to 1.5, so they could be, they could be 10-2, they could be 11-1. Same thing with Penn State. It's a little concerned right now. A 17% chance for Ohio State to win a national championship, only 7% for second-ranked Michigan. Get in on all the action, whether it's pro, whether it's college, whatever you want to do. Over at the DraftKings Sportsbook, you can do so. Do it now. New customers using the promo code HUGE can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on the NFL. We got Thursday Night Football tonight. Come on, the Kansas City Chiefs are on. Bet $5, score $200 in bonus bets instantly every game day in October. There's also a sweetener offer. So look for that on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download it now. Promo code HUGE only on DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the National Football League. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody knows the gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions will apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. For Ben and Ryan, I'm Anthony. So long. We'll see you tomorrow on a Friday morning here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. He is a managing partner at Bean Garter, soon to be Dorn Mayhew, and they'll be stronger together. And did you know Bean Garter can help your business with outsourcing your payroll and other business needs? That can help ease tax filing and year-end reporting, compliance reporting, human resources management, time and attendance tracking, and more. Just go to BeanGarter.com to find out more how they can help your payroll system and make your workplace that much smoother. Go to BeanGarter.com. That's BeanGartr.com, and they can help you with all your payroll needs. Like I mentioned, tax filing and year-end reporting, compliance reporting, human resources management, time and attendance tracking, and more. All your payroll needs can be handled by the team at Bean Garter. Find out more at BeanGarter.com.
Ladies, let's go see some men. The show, Friday, November 17th at Soaring Eagle Casino. Come meet the men of your wicked dreams for an affordable night of laughs and maybe some mischief. Oh my. The boys are back in town. Tickets for 18 plus, just $25. On sale now at the box office and etix.com. Sexy costumes, hot dance moves. Your sensational night of fun returns. Hunks, the show, November 17th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Oh my.
Fuel up for less with M-Perks. Earn points on your purchases when you shop at Meijer in-store and online. Then use your points to claim a fuel reward and save at the pump. Your dollar goes further at the pump with M-Perks. Plus, earn points for all qualifying purchases in the Meijer Express station. And keep a lookout for exclusive Meijer Express offers. Enter your M-Perks ID at checkout to earn. Exclusions apply. Not valid in Wisconsin. Max 30 gallons. Download the Meijer app to sign up or see Meijer.com to learn more.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
Merc Perks from Mercantile Bank is here. Merc Perks checking has all you need to plan your busy lifestyle. Travel services for hotels, airfare, and cruises, cash back rewards, and even savings on prescriptions, eyewear, and dental work. Merc Perks also includes all the traditional benefits you love, like online and mobile banking, and fee-free access to almost 40,000 MoneyPass ATMs. So when you're ready for perks, Merc is here. Learn more at mymercperks.com, member FDIC.
Coming up later today at 3, huge opinions on everything.